Philadelphia News, team of my heart.
You've been patient. You've watched the chaos. You've felt the pain of a Sixers season full of injuries, broken expectations, and disappointing nights where you just wanted something to believe in again. You deserve a reason to care. You need a reason to believe this team isn't just wasting your time, and this is where it starts. Because you saw him. Number 19. Justin Edwards, the undrafted kid no one gave a shot to. While the stars were sidelined and the depth charts fell apart, he stepped in and didn't just survive. He showed up night after night on a team bleeding hope. He brought it back. So ask yourself, isn't this the kind of Sixers news you actually want? You remember how this season was supposed to go. Big names, big contracts, veteran firepower, all gunning for a title. But that script got shredded fast. What you got instead? A team held together by grit, tape, and kids who were told they weren't ready. And right in the middle of it, Justin Edwards, a 6 feet 8 inches wing with nothing guaranteed, stepping onto the Wells Fargo floor like it was his destiny all along. He wasn't even drafted, man. And now, he's gone from forgotten to featured in a Bleacher Report redraft. They've got him going 20th overall. Think about that. The same guy nobody picked is now projected ahead of players with guaranteed contracts. That's not luck. That's work. You watched it happen. When you didn't expect much from this roster, when Nick Nurse was forced to throw in young bodies just to field a team, Edwards answered. 4 to 4 games, 10 points a night, draining over 36% from deep. Doesn't sound flashy, but you know better. You know what that means when the team is desperate for floor spacers. And this kid? He defended. He hustled. He found space where there wasn't any. And when the lights got brighter, like against OKC in January, he exploded for 25 points, 6 boards, and 4 assists. That's not a one-off. That's a signal. You keep asking yourself what this front office is doing. You've seen the Sixers news, the trade buzz, the shifting lineups, the broken trust. But hitting on a guy like Edwards, that's what smart organizations have to do. While other teams are buying talent, you need Philly to start building it from the ground up. And Edwards is the proof that it's possible. A rotation-level wing, cheap contract, two-way potential. That's not just helpful, that's essential when you've got max contracts tied up in Embiid, Maxey, and George. You feel the same weight. Every fan does. You want to trust this team again. But trust isn't built on press conferences and quotes. It's built on seeing results. Edwards is one of the few results you can point to from this painful season and say, that mattered. So yeah, you should be watching his progress. You should be hyped about his future. Because if this team is going anywhere soon, it won't be just on the backs of the stars, it'll be because of moments like this. Wins in the margins, steals in the draft, or in this case, steals in the undrafted pool. So let's talk about what it means when a guy who wasn't even picked shows up and earns respect across the league. You think Bleacher Report redrafts a player just because of one hot streak? No. They saw what you saw, that the Sixers may have stumbled on a piece that really fits. A kid who doesn't need plays drawn for him, doesn't need 20 shots, just shows up, plays hard, knocks down open threes, and works. You've been screaming for that kind of energy for years. And now that it's here, you can't let it go unnoticed. You want the Sixers to make the right trades? Fine. But it's not always about the headlines. It's about recognizing who you can count on when things fall apart. Edwards proved he can. He wasn't just filling minutes, he was impacting outcomes. You know how rare that is for a rookie, especially one without pedigree or promise. That's what separates the flukes from the future. And here's the thing, this isn't just about one season. If Edwards can keep this up, you're looking at a core piece off the bench, maybe even more. Think about that. A guy you got for free, turning into someone you can plug in for real minutes during a playoff run. That's how the Sixers win trades. That's how you build. Now here's what I want to know from you. Do you believe Justin Edwards is a future starter in Philly? Or is this just another flash in the pan moment? Let me know in the comments. I want to hear what you think. You stuck around through a mess of a season in injuries, blown leads, inconsistency from guys who were supposed to be sure things. And yet somehow, in the middle of that storm, Justin Edwards gave you something steady. That's rare. That's valuable. You don't just stumble onto a wing with size, shooting, and defensive instincts in today's NBA. You develop them more. In this case, you give them a shot when no one else would. That's what the Sixers did. And you saw the payoff. Think back to when he first checked in. Maybe it was garbage time. Maybe you didn't know his name. But by mid-season, you were asking why he wasn't playing more. You saw the spacing he provided, the confidence in his footwork, the calm he had with the ball, even when the veterans around him were losing theirs. That's when you realized this wasn't just another bench body. This was a dude who belonged. And what makes this even crazier? The NBA didn't want him. 30 teams passed him over, including the Sixers. But when it came time to scrap for rotation help, there he was. That speaks to who he is. No handouts, just heart, hustle, and game. He's built for Philly. And if you've been screaming for this front office to stop chasing washed names and start growing real talent, then Edwards is your proof that it's possible. You want toughness? The guy defends. 6'8", long arms, quick feet, and he fights. Not just switching on guards, not just closing out to shooters. He puts his chest on scorers and makes them work. That's something this team has lacked for years. Wings who don't need their hand held, who aren't liabilities on one end of the court. Edwards doesn't take possessions off. And if you value that, then you already know why he's a building block. And look, it's not just defense. The shooting is real. 36% from deep, confident mechanics, quick release, and the best part, he doesn't need the ball to be effective. He spaces, cuts, hits the corner three, fills lanes in transition, and when he gets downhill, he's not flashy, but he's decisive. Straight line drives with purpose, no wasted motion. That's how you stay on the floor in playoff games. That's how you earn trust. You remember that OKC game, right? Of course you do. 25 points, 6 boards for dimes. He was everywhere. That wasn't just a hot night. That was a glimpse. You saw him play with poise, not panic. You saw him step into the spotlight, not shy from it. And you know how many rookies in this league get that opportunity? Not many. Even fewer actually do something with it. Edwards didn't just show up, he made his mark. So what does this mean for the Sixers moving forward? Everything. You've got a front office trying to figure out how to fix this mess without blowing it all up. And the key, value contracts. Young guys who can contribute. If Edwards is part of your bench rotation, next year reliable minutes, consistent shooting. High energy defense are suddenly deeper than you thought. And with this core, that changes things. Let's talk strategy. You know how the NBA works. Stars win games, but depth wins seasons. If you want to survive the grind, you can't have empty minutes. Edwards gives you productive minutes. Cheap, controlled, no ego, just production. And when you look at where the Sixers are financially big, deals for Embiid, Maxey, George, you have to win at the margins. That's where this kid becomes critical. And you're not the only one who sees it. That Bleacher Report redraft, that's league-wide respect. Going from undrafted to 20th overall, that's more than hype. That's confirmation. It tells you his rookie campaign wasn't a fluke. It tells you execs, scouts, analysts, they've all seen what you've seen. He belongs. But the Sixers, they've got a choice to make. Do they let this talent grow? Do they trust Edwards to take a bigger role? Or do they bury him behind another veteran wing with a name and a bloated contract? That's the fear, right? That they waste this fine chasing another quick fix. That they forget what they have. You can't let that happen. Not again. This is why you matter. your voice, your support, your attention. It pushes this team to make the right calls. When you celebrate guys like Edwards, you send a message. You say, this is what Philly basketball should be. Not hype, not headlines. Heart, work, results. And you know what? The city's ready for it. But it can't stop here. Edwards isn't a finished product. He's a foundation. He needs minutes. He needs reps. He needs the trust to grow into the player you know he can be. If the Sixers are serious about contending, not just pretending, they'll lean into what's working. And right now, Edwards is working. So what's next? What does it mean for the roster, for trades, for the entire direction of the franchise? All right, you've seen what Justin Edwards can do. You felt what he brought to this broken season. But now it's time to get serious. This isn't just about a rookie surprising people. This is about a franchise that's staring down its future with more questions than answers. And somehow, this kid might be one of the few answers you can actually trust right now. Because let's be real, this roster, it's at a crossroads. Joel Embiid is a generational talent. But how long can you ask him to carry the load without a healthy, reliable supporting cast? Tyrese Maxey made that leap, but even he can't cover every crack in the foundation. Paul George, Tobias Harris, guys like that come and go in this league. You need roots. You need players who aren't just here for a paycheck or their final run. You need the next wave. Justin Edwards is that wave. You know how rare it is to find a two-way wing who plays within the flow of the offense, makes winning plays, doesn't need touches to stay engaged, and defends like his next meal depends on it. Those guys get locked up. Those guys become glue pieces for real contenders. And if the Sixers are finally going to build the kind of team you've waited years for, they need to start with guys like Edwards. But here's the twist: you can't just pencil him in and hope it all works out. Development takes investment, accountability, patience, and belief. And if you're watching the same front office that I am, you know that's not always guaranteed. So you have to keep the pressure on, keep the focus sharp. Demand that this team doesn't overlook what they've got right in front of them. Because if they do this right, if they surround Embiid and Maxey with hungry, talented, ascending guys like Edwards, suddenly you're not just talking about surviving the season. You're talking about winning deep into May and June. You're talking about a roster that can match up with anybody. You're talking about being feared again, not just respected. Feared. And Edwards doesn't just help. On the court, he helps with the books. A rotation level wing on a minimum contract. That's the kind of flexibility that opens doors. It lets you use your cap space smart. It gives you the leverage to walk away from overpriced, underperforming players and build something real. That's the dream, right? Building a team that's not just talented, but balanced. You've seen the trap before. Big names, bigger expectations, but no depth, no grit, no identity. That's not what you want anymore. And when you watched Edwards this year, you saw the outline of something different. You saw a guy who gets it, who competes, who fits, who belongs. So here's the real question. Do the Sixers have the guts to commit to that direction? Or are they going to fumble this like they've fumbled so many other opportunities before? Are they going to invest in the next generation or run it back with aging names and false hope? You deserve better. And if Justin Edwards gets the time, the touches, the trust, you're going to see something special grow in this city. You're going to see a real piece of the future right here in your backyard, not imported, homegrown. That's what winning teams are made of. But I'll be real with you, he can't do it alone. If this fan base wants change, you've got to be part of that change. Stay locked in. Make your voice heard. Celebrate the players who play the right way. Fight for the future. Because this moment, it could be the start of something big. And if you believe that, if you feel what I'm saying, then you need to take that next step right now. Smash that subscribe button. Click the bell so you never miss a Sixers update. Because what's coming next? It's not just another news clip. It's the full breakdown of how this team can build around Maxey, Embiid, and yes, Justin Edwards. You're not gonna want to miss that. This is your team. This is your voice. Let's build something worth believing in.